Time to Know actually is an interactive, technology-based tool that the kids can actually use to build their learning from the foundation up.
In Time to Know, you're actually using the computers as a teaching tool in the classroom. It's not separate, it's a part of the teaching learning process.
It's not learning to practice something they already learned from the teacher. It actually helps facilitate the teaching and learning process. It's totally different.
It's not using a program for tutoring or sitting in front of the screen and just answering questions. It was truly being interactive.
It's a new category with Time to Know. We're integrating our learning with our teaching so that it's not just drill and kill. It's not practice, it's teaching.
Time to Know is a better tool for teachers because we have so much fun and we're more relaxed. The teacher has an easier job.
Somebody's finally making it easier instead of harder for the teacher. Everyone likes to give teachers lots and lots of resources, and then sometimes you have so many pieces you don't know what to do with it.
The technology is not replacing the teacher in the classroom. What is happening is that the technology is enhancing what the teacher does and ensuring that students' attention is kept in the classroom environment.
A teacher can manipulate, a teacher can still build in his or her creativity, her personality, his method of doing things with Time to Know.
What Time to Know provides for the teacher is a whole new set of tools. It's not a scripted thing. So the teacher really has great input into how the whole lesson, the whole segment works and the timing of it.
I like the fact that when the teacher opened up her lesson, she started out with a graphic organizer. Who doesn't do a KWL chart? From there, she went into a read aloud. From there, she went to an activity on the laptop. It was there as it was a textbook being used, and that's why I thought Time to Know was so wonderful.
Once you've been exposed and use it, I really feel like you're going to be changed as far as your ability to teach forever. I don't think you'll be the same.
With all the tools that Time to Know gives me, I can accommodate all of those students so I don't lose anyone.
It puts almost like 23 teachers in the classroom at the same time because she could pull a small group to herself and work with them, and it's tracking data the whole time the kids are learning so she can customize their lessons for them.
I'm meeting quite a few individualized needs within a shorter period of time, which is fantastic.
We have gifted and talented students, we have regular education students, we have English as a second language students, we have special ed students. And the way that the technology is set up, the classroom teacher can meet each of those individual student needs within the structure of the whole classroom environment.
You cannot tell my low kids from my high kids in Time to Know. I have a couple of kids who I thought about retaining because they didn't get it in the classroom. But in Time to Know, they're one of my smartest kids.
It's very amazing, and it's great for you to learn more about what you're struggling on.
You can do it your way. I got to understand reading better with the Time to Know. I learned more in Time to Know than I did in the regular classrooms with math.
It's a very constructivist approach to teaching students.
It's a whole different way of teaching. And so as a result, even when I'm just giving them information, they're absolutely engaged in everything we're doing. And they go home at night and parents are telling me that they're able to describe everything that they've done.
The students are totally in charge of their own learning. That's one of the things that Time to Know really does. Not only is the pacing individualized for the students, but the students are more responsible for their own learning.
They know that we're not wasting their time playing school. We're learning, and that learning is going to be lifelong.
And math is a concept that builds constantly, and they may know that 1/2 is equal to 2/4, but with Time to Know, they're able to see why it's true.
They had the concept so much underneath it. They built that scaffolding up above that it wasn't a matter of whether they knew some sort of algorithm to put it into. They could truly apply the knowledge because they had built it themselves in their own way.
want our students to get far beyond the cognitive, answering the questions, making a good grade on that test. That's minimum. Where they need to end up is really giving an open response of making any deduction they want to and showing their true mastery of the skill.
Every campus, I think, across the United States is trying to integrate more technology, but the thing is that we haven't found in education a real authentic way to make it a part of the learning process.
We've invested money for years and years and years on technology, and really very unselfishly. I think our schools have lots and lots of computers.
We have labs, or we might even have computer stations in the classroom that kids cycle through in small group activities. But actually, outside of just research projects, where the teachers actually use something to facilitate learning in a deep way, I haven't never come across anything that does that like Time to Know.
It is definitely a better use of technology and definitely a better use of time for learning.
The Time to Know method is something that I've dreamed about for years. It's fluid. It's right there at the student's desk. So even though I have paper and pencil activities, the laptop is still there and the students continue with their work.
Instead of a classroom teacher and her children going into a technology lab once a week for 45 minutes, what we have is a classroom teacher with a set of computers for every student in the classroom. So the computers are being used more often by a teacher who has an enhanced and increased amount of technological intuition as she's working with students in the classroom.
You get to visualize it instead of just on the blackboard. Regular class just kind of makes them bored, but with computers they're like, ooh, now I love school. Time to Know is all about animation, stories, games, and fun activities.
Students who are doing their work, they send it to me. I can get instant feedback to them. If I don't get that information back in a timely manner, the student forgets about it.
I can see, based on progress on my computer, where people are, who started what, who hasn't started yet, and where they're headed.
I'm able to gauge the classroom to see exactly where they are, where they need to be, who is struggling. Then I could see it quicker than I could see it on a test or see it in a regular classroom.
Time to Know is fun and exciting. You could learn and have fun at the same time instead of being bored in real life.
You could teach a child anything once they're engaged because they're ready to learn. And that's the difference between a regular classroom and a Time to Know classroom.
I see it as a time saver. A time saver in the fact that if they're engaged, they're not going to be discipline problems. A time saver in the fact that they're excited about coming to school, so they're going to be here.
Kids know how to use computers better than most adults, and we've never tapped into it, and now it's present in the classroom. So kids, we've already won half the battle.
They hate books. They hate to read. So when you give them a book, they're already shut off. They don't want to learn. But when you put technology in front of them, they're like, okay, cool, I could do this. And then you could teach them almost anything. I don't lose any kids whenever I do Time to Know.
I like Time to Know because it's fun and you also learn too. It's a cool way to go to school.